It's happened. This is officially one of the greatest days of the year 2024. This will go down as a monumental moment in the history of Chelsea Football Club. I want to take you back to 2017. But before I do that, yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. You remember an Italian man that used to grace the dugout of Stamford Bridge who goes by the name of Antonio Conte? An amazing manager, won us the Premier League, and finally, he today has saved us from the burden, from the man who's been absolutely milking a living off the name of our football club. Romelu Lukaku is finally no longer a Chelsea player, and I for one am absolutely delighted about this, to the point where if I could, and I can, like my own video, then I would. And if I could subscribe to myself, then I would. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and if you're buying yourself the new shirt this season, I strongly don't recommend getting Lukaku on the back, but I do recommend using the discount code GBFC10, and if you use the link in the description and use that code, you get 10% off your order. Chelsea home shirts, away shirts, third kits, whatever it may be, on the Mega Store. I'm delighted about this, guys. This is mega Chelsea news today, that finally we have got rid of Romelu Lukaku. And let me point out, we haven't just got rid of him. I would have been happy for us to just like sail him away on a boat down the river and just be like, adios mate, is some, I don't know, lump of cheese or something. But we've actually got a good fee for him. Considering the fact that we spent £100 million on him, it might not look great, but again, I'm hearing some stories that in terms of like actual book value, this deal ends up being like pretty good for Chelsea Football Club. So let me give you the news here, because I'm hoping you're watching this video when you wake up in the morning and you're delighted about it. But here is the here we go that we needed. Romelu Lukaku to Napoli, here we go. Verbal agreement in place between the clubs. Chelsea accept €30 million fixed fee plus add-ons up to €15 million for €45 million potential package. This is great news. And look, I've been waiting for this moment for a couple of years. I've been waiting for this moment since he sat there on Sky Italia and gave an interview basically just shoving Chelsea Football Club under the bus. And it gets to me. I love football. I love Chelsea. And when I see someone that we've invested so much money in, who is probably the most disloyal footballer ever, when I see him mugging us off, it kind of hits me where it hurts. So to finally see the back of Lukaku is amazing. Now, we have also many other reasons why this deal is fantastic. Now, Lukaku is a Napoli player. They have got two big problems on their hands. One of them is a genuine big problem, Romelu Lukaku. The other one is the want-away striker, Victor Osimhen. We've always known from recent times that the deal for Chelsea to sign Osimhen will always be a separate deal to that of Lukaku going to Napoli. So we know that this has always been the case. Now half of those two deals is done. Napoli now have the striker. What this will do is it will speed up their process, their want, their need, their desire to sell Victor Osimhen. At the same time, we've also known that the Victor Osimhen saga will probably go down until the end of the window. As well as that, we're also hearing stories now that Napoli also want to sign Carney Chukwuemeka from Chelsea. Now, as much as I love Chukwuemeka, the signing of Joao Felix makes it even more difficult for me to see a way that Chukwuemeka is going to make it into the Chelsea side. I think if he would have stayed fit last season, it could be a different story. I think he's a really talented footballer, but at the same time, we were led to believe at the beginning of this summer that if a decent offer was to come in for Chukwuemeka, then Chelsea would be willing to let him go. If this happens, and even if this doesn't happen, what we are seeing happen here at Chelsea right now, with the banishment of Sterling, the banishment of Chilwell, is Chelsea, and I said this in a lot of detail the other day in the last news video that we did, Chelsea here are trying to free up many different big wages off of the wage bill. And the way that Enzo Maresca was speaking in his press conference yesterday about the potential of buying new players, it's so clear here that all roads are leading to Big Victor coming to Chelsea Football Club. Enzo Maresca was saying in the press conference that if an opportunity to sign a player arises who is going to improve us, then we're going to take that opportunity. He also mentioned that just signing players willy-nilly is pointless because we've done a lot of that and we don't really need to just add extra names now into the squad. At this stage of the transfer window, Chelsea are only going to be looking to improve the first team squad. And after what we saw from Mark Gu's miss against Servette, now that we have got rid of Romelu Lukaku, it has never been clearer. Chelsea need Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen to Chelsea has seemed like something that has been destiny, I guess you could say now, for so long. And the fact that we've also here got some news that Kepa Arrizabalaga joins Aaron Ramsdale on Bournemouth's shortlist. A lot of compromising needs to go on to make either move happen. Chelsea would extend Kepa's deal if he goes on loan. This isn't good. But if Bournemouth can sign Kepa, also take off a massive chunk of wages that Kepa, he's been on a 7-year contract, and that is obviously small now in conjunction to what Chelsea player contracts have looked like since the Clearlake ownership. But considering Kepa has just been, again, not a disaster, absolutely nowhere near the magnitude of a Lukaku disaster, but to spend 72 million on the bloke, maybe he had one good season, maybe like 3/4 of a season, the fact that we're still paying his wages is also an issue. And it feels like what Chelsea are doing now is we're kind of cleansing some of the bullshit of old. You can argue that there's new bullshit that's come into the club now. Maybe yes, for sure, there's elements of it. But we're trying to get rid of these players that just don't deserve to be on the wages that they're on. And I think for me, it's as clear as day that the way that we're kind of trimming the squad now, we're cutting the amount of players down, we're cutting the players that just don't deserve to be on these gargantuan wages. We still want to sell Sterling. There's rumours that Aston Villa are now interested, Newcastle, Palace. There's lots of potential interest here for Raheem Sterling, and I don't think he's going to be too proud to stay at Chelsea when he's basically been shunned out of the door by the manager. Ben Chilwell as well. I think the moment that there is a club that comes in for him, he's going to want to move. Chelsea are going to want the sale to go through, mainly just because we want to get those wages off of the books. The Chelsea signing of Victor Osimhen has never been closer now that the Lukaku to Napoli deal is done. Chelsea have been waiting for their opportunity here. The longer that we go in this transfer window, the more pressure will be put on Osimhen from Napoli. As soon as that Lukaku deal was done, which it now is, and he's now their striker, if Osimhen would have ended up staying at Napoli, and for whatever reason Napoli and Conte weren't so insistent that they get the deal done for Lukaku, if Chelsea were like, no, you know what, this offer isn't good enough, we're not going to sell him to you, then it could have left a big issue for Napoli where Victor Osimhen, their valuation has always been too high, to be quite honest. If he'd have ended up staying at the club and Lukaku wouldn't have come in, then Napoli would have ended up having to use Osimhen anyway because he's too good of an asset to, if he doesn't go, to not play. So now that that part of the equation is over, naturally, the value of what Napoli will accept for Osimhen, because look, if he's valued at 100 million euros, it's a very expensive problem to just leave him on the bench. It will fester like this negative poison within the dressing room that such a valuable player isn't being played, that now, every minute basically, not literally, but like theoretically this is how it's going to work. Every day now that Osimhen stays at Napoli, that value of what they're going to have to be willing to accept is going to go down. Chelsea aren't going to be desperate in the sense of, well, we need it done today because we haven't got a striker to play against Wolves. We haven't got a striker to play in Servette next week. That isn't the case. Chelsea have got Nicholas Jackson. We've got Cole Palmer, who Enzo Maresca has said can play as a false nine. We've got Nkunku, who can play as a centre forward. We've got Mark Gu, who loves rounding goalkeepers and they're missing. But like, we've still got strikers here at Chelsea. But the evidence that we have seen in the past few days that we desperately need that clinical number 9, it's the final piece of the jigsaw. I've said it on countless occasions here. And for me now that this Lukaku deal is done, yes, we haven't seen any direct progression in Chelsea's deal for Osimhen because it's a separate deal. But now that Lukaku is off the books. It's another massive wage earner. And I think it's getting to a point here where Chelsea are going to see this window of opportunity. People have been saying that the reason Chelsea have been so sign is because we think there's a transfer ban coming based on the investigations from what happened under Roman Abramovich's ownership. If Chelsea have got a transfer ban coming, that it's never been so clear that the striker that we want, and we've wanted for ages, is right there. And there's never been any dwindling interest. All of the journalists in the football world know and have been reporting that Chelsea want to sign Osimhen. This isn't like we're just making this up. This isn't just fake news. Chelsea do want to sign him. It's about now we either adjust the wage budget and the wage structure, and we just go for him and realise that it really is that level of signing that we should be breaking the structure. And I for one, agree that we're changing the way that we run, that we're not going to pay players stupid money. But a striker, it's the striker and the goalkeeper, it's the sandwich of a team. You need to have a top keeper, which maybe we don't quite have a top keeper, but you need a striker to put the ball in the back of the flipping net. And also, we don't really have someone who's clinical enough to guarantee us loads of goals, apart from Palmer, but he's not a striker. So now, it's so obvious to me that Chelsea, in the next few days, will be going in pursuit of Osimhen, and I think it's going to happen. Now, Napoli's valuation will be going down. Chelsea's timing of this, we've heard all along, it's going to the wire, it's going to the end. I don't think Osimhen wants to go to Saudi. He's too good of a player right now to go there. No disrespect. Paris Saint-Germain, we've been hearing that they're going to drop out the race. Chelsea, don't let Arsenal get him. Don't let Arsenal be the club to make that sign-in and then get even further ahead of where we want to be. If Chelsea want success, if Chelsea want to win things, we will go and get this done. And if we don't, then we literally deserve what's coming our way, which could be missing out on Champions League. It could be less revenue because we're in worse European competitions. And it could be many times this season watching us play and thinking, if only we had a proper striker. That's what I don't want to happen. So let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. But we move now into some other news to end this Chelsea video. Apparently, Empoli in Italy are getting close to signing Tino Anjorin. Yet another player that we can get rid of to narrow down that massive squad that the media are currently looking to discuss with Chelsea Football Club. Still looking to sell Sterling, still looking to sell Chilwell, and apparently Murillo of Nottingham Forest is also on Chelsea's radar if we can sell Chalobah, Disasi and Badiashile. I look at this and I'm like, there's no way that we sell all three of these centre-backs. It would also be a bit foolish to sell all three centre-backs and then only bring in Murillo, because we're not going to have enough numbers. We've got to be careful here that we don't go from being the team and the squad that is far too big to being the team and the squad where we're looking thin in certain areas of the field. I definitely think there's a world here where Chalobah's probably going to be sold because he's just been shunned out the door even before pre-season. I just don't think we sell both Disasi and Badiashile. Maybe it is the right thing. Maybe we've realised that yes, we spent a lot of money on two centre-backs and they were a risk and it's not really paid off. Neither of them have really become mainstays. I think Disasi was good against Servette, but like, come on, it's Servette. No disrespect, no offence. They're in European football, but we expected that. We needed that. Disasi is a good enough defender to shut out Servette. And even then, we were very lucky that they missed massive chances in the 6-yard box. So, let's see where this one goes, but the priority has to be Osimhen. It really does. Smack a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. Come on, you Blues. Oh, preview for Wolves is out later on today, so stay tuned for the second video. Let's go.